Good morning, Kenya, and good evening, North America. Today we are privileged to have one of our original farmers, our farmer number one, Mzee Jacob Carter. Now, Mzee Carter has a lot of history in tea farming and matters to do with tea. He has over 40 years experience. So today the floor is open for you. You can ask any question. Karibu Paul. So, Mzee Kata, as we are waiting for the questions, how long did you work in the tea industry?
I worked for a company called Eastern Produce from 1975 to 2013.
Wow, that's a long time to know matters about tea. Um, Paul is asking, aren't you the handsome man from the African chai tin?
Yes, I am Paul.
Boaz is saying, hello, Mzee.
Karibu Boaz.
Okay, and by the time you are retiring, what were the milestones that you had from the time you got employed to the time you're retiring?
It's a big challenge, but when I joined the company, it was a British company, or it still remains a British company, and there were not very many Africans. And so I kept on climbing the ladder as they retired or went back to their home country. And so I had all new experiences over all the stages to the level where I got to executive position, and I interacted more with the outside world when I was the production director of the company.
Okay. How much tea was your company making by the time you're leaving?
By the time I was leaving, the company was making 27 to 30 million kilos made tea annually. It was made in 7 factories.
Okay, and it is said that you spearheaded the small-scale tea farmers growers, and you also made a company happen for a tea factory.
That is very true, because I was involved with the raising of tea plants for the multinational. It got to a stage that we thought that we would incorporate the neighbors. So I had to talk to the neighbors, teach them on how to raise plants in their various gardens in their backyards, um, and grow them. And the company agreed to process, of course, with permission from the tea board. So that group has grown over years to over 6,000 farmers. It is at the stage when there were 6,000 farmers that they approached the multinational company for acquisition of a property. And the company considered favorably and gave them uh, a going concern, a big factory with all its infrastructure, and they bought it over 7 years.
Wow, that's quite a big feat. Paul is asking, what's your favorite tea to drink?
Of course, having been in before I joined you, Paul, in these new cities, in the new Orthodox tea, it was the CTC Black PF1 grade.
Okay, and Boaz is saying, tell us about your involvement with the small-scale farmers in the tea growing areas.
Well, as I said, when it got to the stage of involving myself with the farmers, I actually was assigned the big duty of going around talking to the farmers. And as I said, it was right from the initial stages. Some of them had not appreciated the idea of growing tea, but over time, as they saw their immediate neighbors growing tea and making money out of a very regular supply of green leaf, because as soon as you put your leaf into the buying center, it is as good as sold, and it's already money, unlike other crops like maize, where you doubt what would happen when you deliver to the cereals board and the other bodies. Similar to milk, it's a problem, but tea came out as a very good crop in that as soon as you deliver, it's already bought. So the farmers over time accepted. They asked for the best clones. We offered them the best clones and the best cultural practices to raise the plants. And we developed the infrastructure of collecting leave on their behalf and processing leave on their behalf and remitting money direct to their accounts at the end of every month.
Okay. And I can see we have people watching from Australia. Hi, Hilary, from the office. Hi, Florence. And Grayson says, just 3 weeks ago, Mama Grace and I were walking around your shamba. So good to see you. So you
Thank you.
can say hi back to Grayson.
Hi, Mzee Grayson. Hi, Mama Grace. I can see some of the ideas you imparted on my grandchildren is going on. And my daughter-in-law is using your flower vessel. And it's a beautiful one in the house. Thank you very much, Mama Grace.
Okay, and Boaz is asking, how would you say about the tea as a crop for a small-scale farmer?
It's a sustainable crop, unlike most other crops. Tea tends to give a very regular income, which sustains a small scale farmer. And if they are keen, the husband and wife, if they are married, can actually manage it by regularly plucking it because over a period. And the production, particularly in our district, tends to be evenly distributed throughout the year. So there are very few challenges, unlike coffee, which ripens at one stage and you require external labor to support you. Tea is unlike that. It just leaves and regularly supplied, regularly comes out from the plant over the period.
Oh, okay. Paul is asking, is Mama Ruth sitting beside you, Mzee?
No, this time round I decided that I defect to Nairobi and enjoy the Nairobi English breakfast. Not that I'm in England, but I left the African breakfast for a while, and now I'm enjoying the English
And the
breakfast.
Nairobi traffic jam.
And the Nairobi traffic jam.
Please comment about the most recent black Tumoi tea, the black tea.
Paul, or whoever it is, I was very, very impressed in that the flavors came out, particularly for the clones that we had chosen. It came out so strongly that it could compete anywhere in the world.
Wow. You've had it, Paul. We have the best tea, the best black tea right now. There's Florence Chepkemoi saying, hi, Mzee.
Hi, Florence.
Happy to see you and learning a lot.
Thank you.
What is the yield per bush per year?
The yield per bush, let me put it like this, that a hectare has 10,000 plants for ease of your computation. A hectare has 10,000 plants and it produces 3,000 kilos green leaf. Multiply that by, 3,000 kilos meti, multiply that by a factor of about 5, and that would give you 15, divide by the 10,000 in an acre, and you'll find that a bush gives you about 1.5 kilos
Per year?
per year.
Wow. Okay, so we can invest in
Convert
the
that
bushes.
again into money and say if it is 150 shillings in our Kenyan terms, 1.5 kilos at an average of 50 shillings or 40 shillings, you'll be getting 60 shillings in a square meter.
Okay. So Paul is asking, I can't wait to taste the tea, the black tea, I suppose. And Grayson is saying, what advice do you have for your son and my son to make their business in Kenya tea coming to North America?
Let me start with Paul's question. Paul, I think you have an organized system with Boaz. In a week, you should be getting the tea, but tell us your honest opinion. I had hinted to Boaz that there will be a change in Paul's mind when he tastes the new batch of tea because the flavor is so strong and I think it will blend well. For Mzee Grayson, I think you are on page 13 of our book where we said we would want this project to go beyond 200 years. The challenge that two young men have is that they must be honest to one another, they must talk whatever they have in their heart, and push the project forward. It is a very unique relationship that we have between two continents very far apart, but over time we will bring it very close and the project should move.
Okay, so Boaz and Paul, you had it. Communication is the key. So there you are. I can see there are no more questions. So thank you for tuning in. We are going to close now and we are going to brace the Nairobi traffic jam this morning. And Paul saying it's a very special family partnership. What do you like the most about Kenyan purple tea? Probably that would be the last question we are taking.
Paul, the Kenyan purple tea was developed by the Tea Research Foundation on demand from the farmers that over time the researchers were researching things relating to black tea and more of scientific reasons as to why tea has the qualities it had. But the farmers demanded that they should really come up with something more unique, and that's why they came up with purple tea. Of course, the challenge that they had was that the purple color was not coming through the liquors, but you and Boaz have cracked, and therefore you have a credit on the exercise too. Thank you.
And the white tea also, they have also cracked on it.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for tuning in and thank you for watching. Thank you for coming today. We have to go, as I said, to brace our Nairobi traffic and start our day. Have a good day and have a good night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Paul.